Hi there, everyone. I just wanted to let you guys know what's been going on with me lately. I still don't have any artwork to show. I wanted to show you guys artwork in the next update video. That's what I said in the last update video. Uh, so I'm I was kind of like, okay, I could either wait until I have artwork done, or I could just let you guys know what's up as a general update. And I'm opting for the one where I can just tell you guys what's going on right now instead of you guys arbitrarily needing to wait longer. Uh, so I'm recording this right on the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. So it's Friday night right now. To you in America, it seems like the Canadian Thanksgiving uh, day is actually Columbus Day in America. So you guys, I never knew that there was like a correlation like that. So uh, that's how you guys can keep track of when I'm recording this. But basically, I spent a lot of time brainstorming and wondering what to do. Because, again, ADHD, and I've never really done anything like this before. And it's intimidating trying to start a business, especially one that's like niche like this. But basically, for right now, what I'm doing is I really do like the idea of making um, visual novels that are all CGs. And at the same time, I do understand that there is like a little bit of a market for visual novels that are just short. Because some people really get intimidated by visual novels that are really long. And multiple times I've seen now that some people, at least on like the visual novel subreddit, are like I realize that there is a need for like some people are like, how do you guys finish stuff like this? Are there any shorter things? Like it seems like all of the big visual novels that people talk about are like 40 plus hours long. And yeah, so I'll just give you guys an outline on what I am doing and have been doing. So I am working on The Warm Tree. It's going to be 50,000 words, 10,000 word common root, and two 20,000 word roots. So there are two love interests, Alkea and Twilight. So I've just been ironing a whole bunch of this stuff out. So yes, it will be all CGs. I don't need to worry specifically about the CG count. I am going to do this method that I was talking about before and that I was trying a very long time ago when working on a castle on an island, where basically if the characters are in a specific location doing one specific thing, I will just reuse those CGs as is appropriate unless it's some sort of special event CG. So for example, if the main character, Alto, is walking with Alkea on the beach, I just need a CG of him walking with Alkea on the beach, and that can be used during their entire conversation while they're walking on the beach. And there are some other variants, like for example, if they're just talking on the beach but not going anywhere, if they're walking down the left shore versus if they're walking down the right shore. And, if there is some sort of special moment that happens between them on the beach, obviously that would have its own CG. But I was all worried about making visual novels that are all CGs because I thought that I would just end up with way too many art assets to do, even though in the back of my mind, I knew that if I reused them, they'd end up just paying for themselves a lot of the time because there are only so many locations and only so many characters and, things like that. So I have already gone through the common route and have like made a list of all of the CGs that need to be done. And over the course of the 10,000 words of the common root, I only need to do 21 CGs. That isn't including variants. So, for example, with the like walking with Alkea along the beach CG example, It would have to be, okay, they're doing that during the day, they're doing that during sunset, they're doing that during night, for example, and all of the facial expression variants as well. But the bulk of it is just the one image, and then I just do small modifications. So that's really not that big of a problem. So part of why I am wanting to do this is because I feel like it's very achievable, and I tend to assume that I need to do way more work than I actually need to do, when in reality, it is perfectly valid to make something a little bit smaller. There's no shame in making a 50,000 word visual novel like this, and I've learned from making A Lily from the Lightless Water, one of my other visual novels, that a 20,000 word story is enough. Like that's a fine short story. So basically, this is just a common root and two short stories, and yet 50,000 words is around the size of a light novel or a novella or something along those lines, and that's perfectly fine. And it being a shorter size means that I can get it uh, finished easier. And I'm also thinking that what I'll do is I will just have um, this first visual novel of The Warm Tree will be focusing on Alkea and Twilight, but I am designing it in like a modular way where I'm planning in the future on having a visual novel that's like an alternate entryway to The Warm Tree, where instead of focusing on Alkea and Twilight, it is focusing on Simile, who you might recognize from the demo that I made during the Game Jam event, and the librarian, who the identity of the librarian was in flux for quite a while, but now I think I've settled on something good for the librarian. Before I was thinking that maybe even the librarian could be a guy and could be the guy who falls in love with Twilight. But I think it would be cool now if the librarian was a girl, and I just feel like there's something that I can do with this character. So I'm looking forward to that. So the modular nature of the visual novels that I'm designing right now are basically just in your head, picture this graph, right? So you've got the common root, and then you have a fork that goes in two directions, for one for Alkea and one for Twilight. And that is the first game. And the second game is the common root, but instead of splitting to the other girls, it goes into a continuation of the common root, which is another 10,000 words, which introduces you more to Simile and also introduces you to the librarian character. And then that branches off into either Simile's root or the librarian's root. The reason that the first part of the common root is still present in the second game is, of course, so that anyone can just pick it up regardless of which girl they want to pursue. Like, they could literally just pick up either of these, and you just have the opportunity to, like, you could skip the first part of the common root if you really wanted. I'm thinking of just having that built in, because it's like, I don't know, maybe you don't want to, strictly speaking, read about the other love interests that are not pursuable in this version, but at the same time, maybe you want to be introduced to the world and the characters, but also at the same time, I don't know, maybe you've played the first game already and you don't need to reread it. So I just figure, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And it's true that you'll get a slightly longer experience uh, if your first game would be the second one, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just 10,000 extra words. I feel like that's negligible enough for allowing me to do this sort of modular release sort of structure. So that's really the main thing. I'm not really going to stick to a rigid schedule. I've been learning more and more often that that's not really the way to go. I just need to trust that it will work and that I know what a good day's work looks like. And also at the same time, I realize that 50,000 words, like, it actually does take a considerable amount of time, and there will be a considerable amount of art assets and music assets going into everything. But uh, building this on games that are a little bit on the smaller side, I don't know. It just seems like a good idea because it's actually more achievable. You know what I mean? And I just get more practice in. And yeah, so I hope you can see why I wanted to update you guys sooner than later. I will be doing the artwork for the common root of the warm tree, the one focusing on Alkea and Twilight. And I will be like showing you guys the artwork as it is happening as well, like as it's getting finished and polished, and then I could like release it to you guys as like images or maybe speed paint videos or whatever. Uh, but in the meantime, I'm going to be a little bit busy with Thanksgiving, and I figured, hey, I might as well just tell you guys what's up instead of you guys needing to like wait a week arbitrarily. Uh, so yeah, that's basically it. Um, Thanks for listening, you guys, and I know this has been a little bit of a longer stretch than I would have liked, where I've just been sort of brainstorming, wondering what to do, trying to figure things out. And in my head, I thought that it would be a relatively short period of time because it's like, what's there to think about? It's not that complicated. But it took longer than I expected, and I appreciate you guys being patient. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna work on what I love and share it with you guys. Uh, so I don't know when the next update video will be, but it'll have some speed painting in it, or at least I'll show you guys a slideshow of the pictures. And it'll just be nice to see this getting on the road, if you know what I mean. And it's also nice because I've been wanting to write Alkea's story, knowing what it is largely, for quite a long while. And I've been wanting similarly for Twilight as well. So I'm really just sort of looking forward to seeing this whole thing come together and come to life. And then, like, I'm sure it will take longer than I expect, but just seeing it come to life, and then I'll be able to release it and read it, and you guys can read it, and you guys can see the artwork, and it'll be good. So thank you for joining me, and like on my adventures, and I will see you guys in the next video. You take care.